Laula, to our sometime fire pit here at Aulani, where we share our mo'olelo, we share our stories, or mostly friends. It's really just me and I do a bunch of talking. Now, my name is Uncle Aito, he, him. I'm one of the caretakers here at Aulani, which means that most of the time I go around, I change light bulbs, I trim hedges and mow lawns, stuff like that. But one of the perks of my job when Auntie deems fit to let me out, I get to come out here, tell some stories, share a little bit of the culture of Hawaii, and sing ever so slightly off key. All right. Yeah. Just getting started. Let us boldly venture forth together to find out how off key I am this evening. Oh, man, aloha, e como vai, e are there people sitting back here? It's something mountain. All that's left is a teddy bear. Is that Shelly, man? Aloha, that's it. That's where it was. E como vai, e Aulani, oh me, nanea, e go ai como e Aulani.
Hang up your phone. He called you out.
Let's bring it home. Well, that is a song called the Aulani Hula, and it's a special song for us here at Aulani because it talks a little bit about what we do. The words, they go aloha, e komu mai, hello and welcome, come on in to Aulani ku'u home, to Aulani our home. And then the song we say, na nea ika Waikolohe, go enjoy the relaxing waters of Waikolohe Valley. Speaking of which, anybody here get to enjoy the relaxing waters of Waikolohe Valley today?
Yeah.
Now let me hear it. Everybody go swim to the pools.
Woohoo!
Everybody go hand the hot tubs.
Woohoo!
Anybody go down the slides.
Woohoo!
Some of you in that section have a lot to look forward to tomorrow. So we say Nane Ika Waikolohe, enjoy the waters. And then the song we say Holoaku, go out on an adventure. Go out and explore the rest of our beautiful island of Oahu. But e ho'i mai, return to us here at Aulani, our home. And then the song ends, as so many of our Hawaiian songs do, if you listen closely, with the words Ha'ina ia mai on a kapuana, which means now the story's told. In this case, the story of our home right here at Aulani. Now, speaking of our home here at Aulani, the story I'm going to share with you folks this evening is one of my favorite stories to tell out here, because I do love to tell this story, because this story involves something you have probably seen during your time here at Aulani. Now, raise your hand if you have seen Menehune here at Aulani. Raise them up, raise them high, raise them tall. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Menehune, if you've seen them, all right, that's okay. It's a very scientific story. Raise your hand if you have not seen Menehune here at Aulani. Totally fair too, right? All right. I'll raise your hand if you have no idea what I am talking about right now. Yeah, don't be shy, it's cool. Raise your hand if you can hear me but have refused to raise your hand up to this point. I just gotta make sure you feel included too. Well, the Menehune, these Menehune, if you don't know already, the Menehune are a race of small people, kind of diminutive little fellows. And they have lived here in Hawaii even before the arrival of the ancient Hawaiians. These days, they mostly keep to themselves. They tend to live up in the mountains far away from everybody. And they only come out at night as they don't like to be seen by folks like you and me. Though here in Aulani, we have our own special ohana of Menehune that allow themselves to be seen. Legend has it, there's around 300 Menehune scattered all throughout the grounds here in Aulani. I always say it like that, legend has it, because nobody knows for sure exactly how many there are. And the Menehune, they're all over the place. And these little friends, they have a reputation for being very mischievous, or as we say in Hawaiian, kolohe. All right, friends, I gotta warm your voices up here. Ehoa piliwai, repeat after me. Kolohe.
Kolohe.
Let me hear it. Kolohe.
Kolohe.
That is how you say rascally in Hawaiian. You folks know anybody can qualify as kolohe? Maybe they sitting next to you. Maybe you're in their lap. Maybe you're in their lap. Maybe you left them in the room. Maybe you're into the family can't help you. Indeed, kolohe means rascally, mischievous, troublesome. And those Menehune are known to wreak havoc from time to time. But in addition to being kolohe, the Menehune are very industrious. They love to build stuff. They're famous for building local ia or fish ponds. They build auai or irrigation ditches. They build roads, they build bridges. They build canoes, all kinds of stuff. So mischievous, but also industrious. Also, the Menehune can be very helpful. In fact, if you need the help of the Menehune, the best thing to do is to feed them. For as these Menehune work so hard, they work up giant appetites. So give them some of their favorite foods and maybe they'll give you some help. They love to eat maya or bananas. Anybody like bananas? Raise your hand like bananas. Banana. Okay. They also like to eat huala or sweet potato. Like sweet potato. Tends to be less popular than bananas. That's cool. But their favorite food of all, the thing that they prize above all else, is kalo, also known as taro. But not just kalo. They love to eat the poi they made from kalo. We got any poi eaters in the house this evening? Very good. Hey, just me. It's okay. I have more poi for me. So if you need the help of the Menehune, give them some poi, and maybe those Menehune will give you some help. Mischievous, industrious, helpful. The Menehune also have an interesting law that states that any project they undertake must be completed before the sun rises, before the first rooster crows in the morning. So luckily these little friends, they work very hard, they work very well together, and all these little hands work in unison, they can make a quick job out of anything that they do. In fact, to make sure that they stay in sync as they're working, sometimes they would use the Menehune work chant. Are you folks ready to learn the Menehune work chant? Are you ready to learn the Menehune work chant? Good, because otherwise the story is really short. No. Let me demonstrate for you. It goes like this. It goes, ku-kulu, hanna, hanna, ku-kulu, hanna. Hanna. You know what? Let's break it down to its constituent parts, right? Pilima, repeat after me. Kukulu.
Kukulu.
Good. Kukulu.
Kukulu.
Now, kukulu in Hawaiian means to build, but that is not really the important part for you folks. The important part is this next one. Say, Pilima, repeat after me. Hanna.
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 Hanna. Hanna in Hawaiian means to work. And this one's a call and response chant, all right? So I'm going to say, kukulu, and you folks reply with?
Hanna.
Well, we got that theory now. Let's try it for real. Here we go. Kukulu.
Hanna.
Kukulu.
Hanna.
Kukulu.
Hanna.
You went low, but you had a hard time going high. Good for you. Now, this is a story that comes to us from Kauai, off to the west of us here in Oahu. And it's a story about a small village, or at least a village that started out small. This village was growing rapidly, it's getting bigger and bigger. There are lots of babies being born, there are lots of people marrying to the ohana. And the ali'i, the chief of the village, saw that he needed to do something to feed all of his new subjects. So what he decided to do was he would grow more kalo. Now when you're growing kalo, also known as taro, you need to have a constant flow of cool, clean, fresh water. So kalo grows in flooded fields in the mud underneath the water. In order to get all this fresh water that he needed, the chief decided he would build a big river dam. Now this was a huge project, a giant undertaking. But one of the great things about being the chief is that you don't have to do all the heavy lifting yourself. So you'd have the kane, you'd have the men of the village go out every day up into the mountains where they would collect stones and hand those stones down the line. One man to the next, right on down till they got to the front. And when they got to the front, they weren't done yet. They had to chip away those stones. Make sure each one fit nice and snug in that river dam wall. They chip away, make sure each stone fit right into its spot to hold back all that water. As I said, it's a pretty big project. And as it was going on, the ali'i provided for all the ohana, all the families of those kane, those men who were working so hard. He provided everyone with kapa. Kapa, some of you know this. Kapa is a kind of cloth made from the bark of the wauke or paper mulberry tree. We would use it back in the days of old-fashioned clothing out of, so that everybody could stay warm in the night and look stylish. It would also provide everyone with food like i'a or fish, so that everybody would have the sustenance they need to maintain their strength and keep on with all that hard work. So, everybody in the village was well taken care of. Well, almost everybody. Everybody except for one ohana, the family of a man named Kapee. Now let me tell you folks about Kapee. Kapee was a happy guy, happy-go-lucky you might say, but a hard worker, not so much. I mean, he would go and he would work on that river dam project, just maybe not every day like the other men of the village. Maybe more like every other day. Or every other, every once in a while he would go and he would work. But when he did work, he would work hard. Hana nui, as we say in Hawaiian, big work. That's not true either. Yeah, I just said he's not that hard work. So maybe not that hard, maybe kind of hard, maybe sort of hard, maybe not hard at all, to be honest. So his keiki, his kids, saw that they were being treated differently than everybody else in the village. And they went to their father one night and they said, Makua, Daddy, all the other keiki, all the other kids in the village, they have no kapa tonight, Dad. And we're kind of cold in our old beat-up kapa. All the other ohana, all the other families, they're eating i'a tonight, Dad. They're eating fish, and we're so hungry. Kapee's wife put it to him rather more bluntly. She said, you lazy bones, you go work hard, you provide all the things that your family needs for a good life. So our man Kapee was stuck between a rock and a hard place. He needed to do something big, something spectacular, something amazing. And he needed to do it rather quickly to make up for all the work he hadn't done. But it felt like it was too big a thing for just one person by himself. He felt like he might need to ask for some help. Who do you folks think could help our friend Kapee? Little, industrious, previously mentioned the story, shout it out.
Menehune.
The who?
Menehune.
The what?
Menehune.
The Menehune, yeah. What's the best way to get those Menehune to help you out? You remember? Poi! I love it when a plan comes together. Feed them some poi. So that's what Kapee decided to do. He would make some poi for the Menehune. Now, making poi is kind of an involved endeavor. The first thing he had to do was he had to prepare an imu, an earthen oven. So he dug a pit in the ground, and he filled it with hot stones. And then he took one little kalo, a little taro his family had left for their own use. And he prepared them for the imu, wrapping them in leaves. And he put them there in the pits. And then he covered everything up with earth. And while the kalo was there cooking underground, Kapee made his way up to the mountain home of the Menehune. Now, since those Menehune only come out at night, they're kind of hard to find during the day, but they always leave a guard to watch over their village when they rest during the daylight hours. And when Kapee found the guard, he gingerly approached him. And he said, "Hoi, what's up, guys? Yeah, I just want to let you know I made a feast for you and all your friends, yeah? So you guys come on down, it'll be ready in a couple hours, yeah? I'll leave him hanging in a kukui tree, kind of somewhere sort of over near where the river dam's being built, if you don't have any, yeah. The Menehune guard, he looked up at Kapee, and he said, "We will come!" It's actually a really good Menehune impression. Now, when you ask a Menehune for help, you gotta be subtle. You gotta ask without asking. If the Menehune think you're worthy of their assistance, maybe they'll hear your plea and help you out. So after talking to the Menehune guard, Kapee made his way back to his imu. And he uncovered the kalo that had been cooking therein. And that kalo was cooked, but it wasn't poi yet. The first thing he had to do was unwrap it from the leaves. Then he took his opihi shell scraper, scraped all the crusty skin off the outside, grabbed his big, heavy papa kuyai, that's his poi pounding board, grabbed his kuyai pohaku, his poi pounding stone, got himself a bowl of water, and then he went to work pounding poi. Now when you're pounding poi, you gotta make sure you add just the right amount of water, yeah? You wanna make sure your poi is not too thick, not too thin, but just right. And as Kapee finished pounding that poi, he grabbed some la'i, some tea leaves, and he made little bundles of poi, just the right size for those hungry Menehune maus to eat. Kind of like fun-sized poi. And then he took all those bundles over to that kukui tree, kind of somewhere sort of over near where the river dam was being built. And he hung the bundles up in the tree like poi Christmas ornaments. And as he finished doing that, you could hear sounds coming from up the mountains. Not just sounds, but voices. Not just voices, but indeed the voices of the Menehune. Guess whose voices those are? You folks remember your part? Yeah, these are your lines, yeah? So as the Menehune came down, they went, "Kukulu, kukulu."
Hana.
Come on.
Hana.
Kukulu, kukulu.
Hana. Hana.
Handing those rocks from one to the next, they got to the front. When they got to the front, the Menehune weren't done, and neither are you. They went, "Kukulu, kukulu."
Hana. Hana.
Kukulu, kukulu.
Hana. Hana.
Chipping away at those stones. Making sure each one fit nice and snug in that river dam wall. Oh, Kapee marveled at the Menehune, how quickly they worked, how clean their stonework was, so amazing. Now, of course, the Menehune law states that any project they undertake must be completed before the sun rises, before the first rooster crows in the morning. As the sky began to turn pink with the approach of the dawn, those Menehune had to work a little, what's the word? Faster indeed! And they went, "Kukulu, kukulu."
Hana. Hana.
Kukulu, kukulu.
Hana.
Kukulu, kukulu. Sorry, I got carried away. And as the sun peeked up over the horizon,
That's funny.
the river dam was finished. Kapee watched as the Menehune made their way to that kukui tree, gathered up all their bundles of poi, and made their way back up to their mountain home to enjoy their well-earned meal. And as the sun climbed higher and higher in the sky, the rest of the colony, the men in the village, turned out ready for another hard day of work. Only there didn't seem to be any work left to do. They touched it. Oh, it was real. but who had done this, completed this huge project all in just one night. Well, just then the Aulani, the chief of the village, arrived, and surveying the work that had been done, he said, "Oh," which is what I get the Aulani sound like tonight. "Oh, this must be the work of the Menehune. But who was it that asked for their help?" In the back of the crowd, Kapee timidly made his way forward and said, "Hui, call my sorry, sir, no disrespect. I just want to say I'm sorry for all the work I never do, and to make up for it, I made a little snack for the Menehune, if you know what I mean." The Aulani looked down at Kapee and said, "By asking the Menehune for their help, you've helped the entire village. Now we will have all the fresh water we need to grow all the kola we need for a long time to come." And that night, Kapee and his family wore the nicest, newest, warmest, most stylish kappa, and ate the freshest, most delicious fish. You see, it's never too late to make a wrong right, as long as you know how to ask for help. Iyamako, we are the Menehune. Iyamako, we live up in the mountains. Iyamako, we work until the dawn. Then we're gone, then we're gone, then we're gone. We have mahalo. There will be one more storytelling tonight. Tonight at 9 o'clock, which is, of course, later. But right now, I gotta go change more light bulbs, yeah? And nothing helps an uncle change light bulbs more than having his own traveling, if somewhat fiery, assistant. So until we meet again, ahui ho akuno. Have a wonderful evening. Mahalo.